Following the days of my last video, my mental health started to take on a really dramatic toll. I started to have an increased amount of anxiety, depression, bad feelings of suicidal ideation, and overall just feeling like I couldn't go on. So I had to take actionable steps put in place by my therapist and I to help me overcome a mental health breakdown. Yeah.
When he felt that rumble, he had to take his arms back before it got.
I just feel like giving up at this point. Like, seriously. I cannot do this anymore. I just can't do this. I want to be done with all of this right now. I'm just so freaking tired. I'm so tired. I just want to be done, Lord. Please. Please help me. I'm about to lose it. I'm about to freaking lose it. Do it no more. The house is quiet right now. It's Tuesday. And I woke up out of my sleep this morning at like 4 a.m. screaming. Because I've been having some really bad dreams lately. And I just could not go back to sleep. And right now, I'm just feeling like mentally crushed. And I'm just praying today that I'm able to make it through another one. Just gotta take it 1 hour at a time. Honestly, right now, I'm taking it 1 hour at a time. I'm so glad my children are at school now. Because I don't know what's going on with me, but my patience is real thin. I had to go into another room while they were in the living room just arguing about, I don't know, a toy and something trivial that's just what kids do. But I had to excuse myself to go into another room so I could put my face in a pillow and just scream. And right now, I'm just so glad that they are both at school. I'm just so thankful and so grateful they both at school. And I got to get a grip on what I'm feeling right now. I don't know why it's so heavy right now, but I've got to get a grip on it before things take a turn that I don't want them to. 1 hour at a time. 1 hour at a time. I know I filmed today multiple videos in one sitting, and I just had a range of emotions, all of which I'm just tired of trying to keep up with and juggle at this point. The one right now that I'm feeling the most is this weight of just confusion, depression, cloudiness. It's managed to make me have a headache out of this world that I just cannot get rid of. There's so many things that I want to do to get rid of it, but I know that's not healthy. It's not safe. It's not wise. So, right now, I'm about to just turn off all the lights and try to escape into the sounds of Duke Ellington and John Coltrane. Listening to jazz usually eases my mind a whole lot. Hopefully it works out this evening. I'm feeling very insecure and unstable right now, but I'm just trying to hold it together for the sake of my children and my husband. I'm just trying to hold it together. I was trying to hold myself together a whole lot, and it just became extremely hard. Extremely hard. I had to put some steps into place to pull myself from the edge of the cliff before things took a really, really dramatic toll. So, this is that plan to prevent me from entering the hospital and from harming myself. The first step of my safety plan is to make sense of my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I do this by going to a calming and generally quiet place like a park or outdoor seating area to write in my mental health journal. It helps me to just start writing immediately. No matter what the feeling or thought is, I put it down on paper to get it out of my head. Once I have completely cleared out my head about what I'm feeling, I take a few minutes or sometimes more to organize all these thoughts and emotions into specific categories. At times, I found that writing about my emotions or what I'm feeling can be extremely uncomfortable or even painful. But I find that it's better to get it out to develop a clearer mindset. I also like to use my mental health journal to track patterns in my emotions and identify triggers that might be contributing to other problems with my mental health. This practice allows me to make changes in my life that will improve my overall mental well being. When it comes to experiencing a mental health breakdown, the second step of my safety plan is to get immediate support from a loved one. Now, for me, after I have reached the edge of the cliff, it can be really hard for me to think clearly or even get help. That's why it's important for me to let someone close to me and who interacts with me daily know that I am in crisis. My immediate support system is my husband. I let him know that I have been struggling mentally and that I need him to step in to provide his support. We talk about what I might need from him in the midst of a mental breakdown. My husband is phenomenal for just being there to listen without judgment and letting me talk things through. This man is a complete lifesaver for me because sometimes when I'm talking, I tend to panic out of fear. He knows one of the many techniques that helps me calm down, like box breathing. This helps regulate my heart rate and breathing so I won't feel overwhelmed. My husband is always there to remind me that he is in my corner whenever I feel like I'm struggling. He is there to be another form of mental health support and strength as I face any mental health challenge. For my own experience, the third step of my safety plan is to reach out to extended family when I'm dealing with a mental health breakdown. A majority of the time, the person I call on the most is my dad. He offers me a fresh perspective, practical advice, and a huge amount of emotional support. I find it easier to reach out to my dad because he's the most understanding and supportive form of family. He has seen me at my worst when I was dealing with postpartum depression. Plus, he has been through similar mental health struggles. I know I can reach out to him at any time of the day and I won't feel like I'm being a burden or disrupting his day. My dad always makes it clear that I can be honest and transparent with him about what I'm going through and how I'm feeling. My dad is also someone I can depend on if I need family to come to where I am just in case I have to go into a mental health hospital. No matter how anxious I feel while I'm talking to my dad, he never ceases to amaze me with his level of understanding and compassion. The fourth step of my safety plan is to seek out professional help from my therapist as soon as possible. One of the most amazing things about my therapist is that I can reach out to her at any time to let her know when I feel like I am on the edge or when I'm experiencing suicidal ideation. The best form of communication for me to reach out to her is through email. I am able to express the sense of urgency of my mental health crisis, as well as the feelings and emotions that I have written down in my mental health journal. I tend to share the symptoms that I have been going through and how they have affected my life over the past few days or weeks, whatever the time frame may be. I share as many details as I can through an email that will help my therapist understand what's going on so she can provide me with the appropriate support and guidance when we do have an actual face to face or virtual therapy session. One thing about me is I know that my therapist is there to support me and help me manage my mental health and overall mental well being. Within a few hours of sending an email to my therapist, I am able to move on to the fifth step of my safety plan. I see my therapist at least every other week, but we have an agreement in place where if it calls for an emergency, I'm able to speak with her the same day or the following day. During my emergency session, she performs a mental health check in with me that includes specific questions aimed at my mental stability. I'm even more open and honest about how I am feeling so she can get a clear understanding of how to help me navigate what I'm going through. From there, she does a full assessment of the most severe symptoms and thoughts that I'm having. We go in depth about why I'm having certain feelings and what may have caused those feelings. She helps me develop coping strategies for whatever I am currently dealing with so that when I step away from the conversation we are having, I am able to prevent any further escalations that will keep me out of an inpatient mental health care facility. The sixth step of my safety plan, after processing so many emotions, is to take a much needed mental health break by doing something that will remind me of what I can control in my life. When I go through a mental health breakdown, it's extremely difficult because of the feeling of overwhelm, the inability to cope, and feeling like I'm not in control. That's why I have to take a step back from trying to fix things to just have a moment in the present where I can be. I do so by doing something nostalgic. For this particular incident, I went to the park to get on the swings. My parents always took me to the park when I was a child. Once we made it there, I always had the biggest smile on my face because I knew I could control where I would go first. That memory alone definitely reminds me that in the present, there are things that I can control with my mental health, even when it feels like it's spiraling out of control. In the midst of giving myself permission to take a break from getting my mental health back on track, I am still immersing myself in a joyful experience that will benefit my mental healing. With the last scene that you all just saw, um, I have since improved with my mental health and my wellness. I am in a much better mental health space. I have tools and resources and access to people and things that will help me live a healthier life mentally so that I can be around for my husband, for my kids, for my friends, for my family, but most importantly for myself. so I can see my dreams come to life. I pray to God that this video helped you in more ways than one with your own mental health and helping you overcome a mental health breakdown if you feel like you are on the verge of one. This was the first time for 2023 where I felt like I had two choices, and it hurts to say this, where I was going to either do something that would take me out of this world, or I was going to have to end up in a mental health hospital. I would prefer the latter because I knew I could get help, but I was able to prevent that by taking on steps with the people in my life that could help me overcome. I'm grateful that I was able to overcome, and I was able to follow through with the steps that we agreed upon. And I decided to document it just in case somebody else in this world needs to know that they are not alone in how they feel, but also that they can overcome what they are feeling, especially if you are a black woman or a brown woman, black man, brown man. I also want to say that if you find yourself in a position where you are mentally struggling, I encourage you to seek mental medical professional help. I know sometimes it's hard to find access to those type of individuals, depending on where you live. But if that's not the case for you, I encourage you to do so. But if it is the case for you, I encourage you to call out to God, call out to Jesus for help, and to open up your Bible, to pray, to get on your knees and ask God to help you overcome these feelings, those thoughts. That is something that I had to do as well, because I felt like I couldn't reach out to anyone because of judgment. You shouldn't feel like you are judged because of your mental state. Most importantly, we need you here. I pray to God that you were able to resonate with this video, find help from this video, find encouragement, motivation, inspiration from this video, and know that you are not alone in this world with how you feel. But there are things available and people available to help you overcome anything that you are facing. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.